This is Abia COVID-19 update. Abia COVID-19 update.
During the daily presidential task force, that's the PTF briefing on COVID-19 yesterday, the Minister of Health, the Dr. Osage Ehanire, said majority of patients who go into hiding after testing positive for coronavirus are asymptomatic. He also said that large percentage of those who have COVID-19 would have no symptoms. So he said it is quite tasking convincing asymptomatic patients of their positive results. Well, there is a new trend, and several reports from across the country reveal how positive COVID-19 patients avoid being treated at the designated isolation centers, and some break out from the centers after being admitted. Welcome. It is another edition, the last edition for the week, Abia State COVID-19 update. My name is Michael Oni. On this program, we highlight daily reports of the Interministerial Committee on the Control of COVID-19, as well as Abia State Governor Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu's efforts in ensuring that the state is safe from the virus. The program is running simultaneously every weekday, Mondays through Fridays, on several radio stations in the state. On BCA 88.1 FM, Flow 94.9 FM, Vision Africa Radio 104.1 FM, all in Umuahia, the capital of Abia State. We're also live on Buzz 89.7 FM and Real 99.1 FM, both in Aba, the commercial capital of the state. Now, let's do the numbers, bringing you up to speed on the figures. As of 8:50 a.m. today, 5th of June, the global number of coronavirus cases is now 6,714,314 as the pandemic continues to sweep across the world. In fact, the death toll in Brazil surpassed that of Italy yesterday. The continent, that's South America, was recently declared a new epicenter of the outbreak. And globally, 393,408 deaths have been recorded, while 3,261,271 people have recovered. In Nigeria, 350 new cases of COVID-19 were recorded yesterday, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 11,516. 8 deaths were recorded on a sad note from the virus, bringing the total number of confirmed deaths from the virus to 323. Until date, we have 11,516 cases which have been confirmed. 3,535 cases have been discharged, and 323 deaths have been recorded in 35 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Only one state in the country, that's the Cross River, is yet to report a case of COVID-19, and Nigeria has conducted 69,801 tests and now has 30 laboratories where testing for the virus can be carried out. Well, Abia State government is concerned about the safety of all Abians and residents alike. That's according to the press release signed by Barrister Chris Eze, the secretary to Abia State government, who doubles as the chairman of the State Interministerial Committee on COVID-19. Now, quote from the press release now, in quote, government is indeed dismayed at the attitude of some churches who carry out Sunday service with more than 50 persons per stream and pay lip service to wearing of face mask and protocols of good hygiene during service. Government frowns at flagrant disobedience of this directive and will henceforth not hesitate to seal off such places of worship and also prosecute the leaders before the state mobile courts. However, attention of government has been drawn to some markets in the state operating outside the approved market days of Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So government will hold responsible transition committee chairman and traditional ruler of any community that abuse market directive and will take decisive action against them. And in line with federal government directives, curfew period will now be from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. daily, and all Abians are to comply with the said directive. End of quote. And that means It's a note of warning to churches disobeying the protocols that put in place by to slow and curtail the spread of the virus, and penalties await churches and other organizations that disobey the state government COVID-19 regulations. Now, this morning, we want to assess the level of support from the federal government in the fight against COVID-19, if there is any. So we have joining us this morning the special advisor to the governor on social investment, Honorable Chinenye Nwogu. Glad to have you join us this morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Avians, good morning.
Okay, good. Glad to have you join us. Sir, can you confirm what the government, the federal government, has received so far from everywhere in this regard?
Thank you very much. Maybe before I start, I'd like to first thank the governor of Abia State for the manner that he has been able to manage this pandemic up until this time. From several quarters, he's received applause for the proactive steps that the state government had taken to manage the COVID. You remember Abia was one of the first states in Nigeria that actually locked down its borders, set up the Homeland Security. When that vision came on board, many people were worried about the propriety of that kind of decision. But today we have seen that that is a very wise decision to have Homeland Security working side by side with other federal government security agencies to police our borders and police our communities in the outbreak of this pandemic. So a lot of support has come from the state government in terms of palliatives. Of course, they're all in the news. Many households have received support during this pandemic, even though, like we all know, it's not a very good opportunity period for everyone. At several levels, people have had several challenges to face, and it's an unusual situation. But like everyone has said, this has become the new normal.
Okay.
We have to live with the challenges of COVID-19 and begin to plan for proactive ways to get us live with it. On the part of the federal government, the president announced certain measures to mitigate the impact of the COVID-19 on citizens, especially the poor and vulnerable, which is the core mandate of the social investment program. Of course, you know that the social investment program is a federal government program administered in states through the state's focal person's office, who is appointed by governor. The activities of social investment is as strong as the governor of the state wants it to be. So if people begin to see that social investment is very active in Abia, it's because the governor of Abia sees that as a priority to work to help alleviate the challenges faced by the poor and vulnerable members of the society.
Okay.
And the target of social investments, the core targets are those who live at the lower rung of the socioeconomic ladder. Children in public primary schools who come from less privileged homes, the small-scale businesses, those businesses whose capital outlay are under 100,000, 200,000, the conditional cash transfer, which is targeted at those who live below 10,000 naira income monthly. So these social investment intervention programs are actually targeted to reach those vulnerables at that level of the socioeconomic ladder, so that their livelihood could be improved. So within this period, because of the impact of COVID-19, which of course will be felt more by the people at that level, several intervention programs were rolled out, and
the federal government.
Yeah, and the president encouraged the state governors to, quickly activate their social investment offices and platforms to use that as a structure to administer these palliatives. Beyond the distribution of rice, that's dry food items, which Abia received some time ago, and it's been distributed across the local governments. The school feeding is another platform the federal government wants to use to reach out to the pupils of public primary school. You know that since the outbreak of COVID, all the schools have been shut down. So prior to this time, pupils in public primary school are fed one decent meal every day. It's envisaged that these pupils, even while they are home, are going through some kind of malnutrition and all kinds of nutritional challenges. So the plan, which is currently being undertaken, is to distribute dry food rations. So homes
not cooked this time around.
Not cooked. No, dry food. Rice, beans, tomatoes, salt, sugar, and oil. So homes of pupils in public primary schools. In Abia, we have a target basket of about 67,000 households. We are in the process of enumerating the beneficiaries, because this is a well structured program. We need to identify the beneficiaries even before we begin the distribution. The beneficiaries data will be captured, and
how do you intend to identify the beneficiaries?
We already know them. These are pupils in public primary school. We have a school register in every public primary school, so it's going to affect all the primary schools in the states. So we already know them. So we're working with the headmasters and the cooks.
Okay, I would like to take you back to some of those things in the public domain that the federal government, said that they've done in helping alleviate and, of course, reduce the sufferings by the indigent due to COVID-19. Now, there was this 20,000 naira.
No, if you let me, I'm running down.
Oh, okay.
I'm taking them one after the other.
Okay.
So for the school feeding, 67,000 households being enumerated. We've captured virtually all the households. We've submitted the data. We've identified its supply chain, which has to be local. We're distributing egg, rice, beans, oil, like I said, and the supply chain has to be local because it's homegrown. And so once we conclude with that documentation, of course, you know that federal government have funded the 4 frontline states: FCT, Ogun, Lagos, and Kano. They've been funded for the school feeding program. So the next stage, Abia is the priority state for the southeast, and we're going to receive support. And once that happens, within a week, we'll distribute to all these households.
That support, is it coming financially,
or
it is going to come in terms of the raw
yeah,
food?
No, the way it's structured, we have identified aggregators who will bring these items locally.
Okay.
And they will receive funds, and we will take delivery of raw food and distribute through our channels. The cooks at the local government level, we have set up structures. At the ward level, at the community level, we have set up structures down the line to distribute to every household, and it will be transparently done, and it will be public. There's no monetary cash involvement in this. It's dry raw food, and it will be packaged per household, so it goes directly to the benefiting household whom we have enumerated already.
Okay.
Beyond that, there's a conditional cash transfer program that was going on before now. Abia hadn't benefited from that conditional cash transfer because the World Bank normally appoints payment service providers for cluster of states. So Abia, Akwa Ibom, Zamfara, and Bayelsa were in a cluster for a PSP appointed by the World Bank. But even before the pandemic, we had consistently complained to the World Bank that the PSP is inefficient and cannot deliver the program. And so luckily for us, when this new minister, the program was moved to the ministry and the new minister was appointed, we made that presentation, and the governor followed up, to insist that Abians who have been enumerated
on that
social register must benefit. So because we needed to get a PSP who is efficient, so that was what caused the delay. The World Bank had sacked the old person we complained about. A new PSP has been engaged to service Abia and the 4 other states, like I mentioned. But Abia is, like I said, for everything social investment, Abia is a priority state because of the way the governor has shown interest in implementing those pro-poor programs for the benefit of the citizens of the state. So within a week, we are expecting the PSP. As of yesterday, Our communication was he's received his letter from the World Bank. The fund, he has been given access to the fund from the CBN, and this fund will take cognizance of the backlog of arrears. So we are going to have people receive arrears of payment for like a year.
That's 20,000.
No, it's no longer going to be 20,000.
Okay.
They receive 5,000 monthly per household.
Okay.
And there's a step up in a top up fund that they receive to support either the environmental issues, health issues, or educational issues. So each household, will be receiving between 50, 70, 80,000, depending on the month and the dates of the enrollment on the program.
No, okay. Just a moment. We need to go for a break now. When we return, I will take you much more on the level of support from the federal government in the fight against COVID-19 in Abia State. It is Abia State COVID-19 update live on several radio stations in the state. We take a breather now. When we return, we take more questions. The special advisor to the governor on social investment, Honorable Chinenye Onwogo, will take more questions concerning the fight against the pandemic COVID-19.
This is Abia COVID-19 update. Abia COVID-19 update.
It is still Abia State COVID-19 update, the last edition for this week. And this is a program where we highlight the daily reports of the Interministerial Committee on the Control of COVID-19, as well as the governor's efforts in ensuring that the state is safe from the virus. This program is running on several radio stations in the state: BCA FM, Flow FM, Vision Africa Radio, Buzz FM, and Real FM, all in Abia State. And also, we still have the special advisor to the governor on social investment, Honorable Chinenye Onwogo. And just before we took that breather, he was talking about the social register. I know a whole lot of Abians have interest in that particular social register. So many things have been said about that register. 20,000 being paid for some persons, and it is not getting to Abia State. Now, from where you stopped, you talked about the arrears will be paid, and there is a new PSP enrolled by the federal government.
Yeah, like I said, the arrears will be paid. Every kobo due to any enrolled beneficiary in Abia, the money is safe with the CBN. Nobody has touched the money. No, not the federal government, not the state government, not the PSP. So the PSP had been given access to the funds. Once we will roll out, once we confirm with the PSP the dates of payments, we will roll out, we will make public the list of beneficiaries, and of course, and the center for payment, the points of payments across the states. Our units, state cash transfer unit, is up and doing. They've gone through several training by the World Bank to implement this program. And once we start, it's going to be continuous for the next 3 years. There will no longer be any break. Then the other one that we are managing is the Jeep program. Some time ago, we delivered soft loans to SMEs at the very low scale, 50,000, 10,000, 100,000. So as I speak with you, we are mobilizing enumerators. Empower beneficiaries are going to serve as enumerators. We are going to enumerate small-scale businesses across the state that will receive a palliative support from the World Bank and the federal government, to inject in their businesses, as way of alleviating this.
Is it coming as a loan?
Yeah, of course, it's a loan, but it's an interest-free loan. And the repayment plan is very convenient because it's taking into account the issues of the pandemic. Then the one that is currently going on, for which I want to lay some emphasis, is the one being conducted by the Ministry of Agriculture, Federal Ministry of Agriculture, and Empower. We are currently enumerating all the farmers in the states. The Abia State Agricultural Development Program, ADP, in partnership with my office, we have selected all the N-Agro beneficiaries in the states. They are going to all the rural communities, and they are going to enumerate all the farmers. Now, what we have said, we are going to work with local government chairmen and the traditional rulers to make sure that our people are properly guided to register themselves as farmers. And the emphasis is, we know that we have variety of farm products, but we want them to focus on those ones that have global, appeal. We know the rice, we know the maize, palm oil, and all vegetables, cassava, and all that. We want our people, our farmers register in the state to be huge, because Abia is predominantly a farming state. Most of our residents in rural communities are all farmers. We have 80% residents in rural communities are into one form of farming or the other, and we want them to be captured with that in that register. So we're also going to make public by Monday. We publish the names of enumerators per local government, and we want the local CC chairmen, the traditional rulers, we've written them letters, and all the stakeholders to ensure that farmers in communities are enumerated, because they're going to receive palliative support in terms of improved seedlings, fertilizer, and other support coming from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. This is very, very important, because we envisage that by this pandemic and the challenges that are happening in the Northeast, next year there may be some challenges with food supply. And the governor has put a lot of programs in place to make Abia self-sufficient in food production. But again, like you've heard, listening to Dr. Adeshina of ALDB and several experts have said, agriculture is not just about food for the subsistence level. Agriculture is a business, it's a job creation platform. We have a lot of young people who do not have means of, who do not have employment. Agriculture can provide massive platform for employment. Just a few days ago, I visited some young people in somewhere in Ishalangwa with their paddy and Anyatomu. They are into a cucumber farm. They have 12 plots of land which they have cultivated cucumber, and it's, you know, by the time we discussed with them and we saw their business plan and the financial outlay, you know, such people, if you ask them to go get a job with government, they will say they are going to waste their time there. So we want our people, especially young people, to take advantage of this enumeration to enter the database as farmers, because a lot of support is going to be coming from there.
I would like to get feedback now from our listener just before we go. There are so many questions I know that we want to ask you concerning some of those things you've enumerated this morning on the program concerning the level of support from the federal government. The lines are very much open. 0808 182 6949 or 0811 605 2949. Also drop messages on 0906 510 8289. Hello, good morning to you. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning to you. What's your name?
Good morning, Mike.
You're welcome.
Good morning to your guest.
Good morning, sir.
Please,
Your name, please.
I want to find out. Okay, I am Joseph Popala from Bauchi.
You're welcome, Joseph.
The people who did the enumeration for that palliative system you talked about that the federal government is pulling out that hasn't got to us in Abia here. The enumeration they did, they jumped some houses, they pick those they like and they know. How about those that they were not captured in their data? What will they do?
For which program?
The poverty alleviation, the one that they came and enroll people. They have been given out to other states. You say that their own is among the ones that they will look into this time around.
No, like I said, we're enumerating for school feeding, we're enumerating for cash transfer, and now we're going to enumerate for agriculture. Which are the program?
He's all.
Okay,
That's
so
correct.
for every enumeration we are carrying out, there's a template. For cash transfer, the way it's a World Bank standard, you know, it's target-based enumeration program, community target-based enumeration system.
Okay.
We don't select the poor. The community selects those who are poor amongst them, and we take the names.
Through the leaders?
No, the whole community is, I don't know whether we have time. It's a beautiful experience to have. You know, we come to a community, we have all the youths on one side, we have all the women one side, all the elderly on one, all the men on one side, and we ask them, who is a poor person by your own standard in this community, and we identify the poverty standard for that community, and we identify the people who fall into that, and we put everybody together, you know, and we verify the name. So we mention a name and said, you people say, based on this standard, this person falls into the poverty, and they all agree.
Okay.
Once they agree on that, then we enumerate the person.
Finally, hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You're welcome. What's your name?
My name is Engineer Addison Honor. I'm calling from Mozambique.
Okay, welcome, engineer.
My guest, thank you. That one you're just explaining now, that cash transfer from federal government, is it done straight direct to the community or local government to the community down to the, I don't understand.
Direct to the beneficiaries. They receive their money directly.
Is it the local government to the state that will come straight to the community to pick them? That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, time will not permit us to continue this conversation. Hopefully to have you again on Abia State COVID-19 update so that you can expatiate more on some of these programs coming from the federal government. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Honorable Chinenye Nwogu, for being part of the program this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
He's a special advisor to the governor on social investment. Many thanks. Hope you're staying safe. It's very important you keep staying safe. Coronavirus is real. Many thanks to the partnering stations, BCA FM, that's 88.1, Flow 94.9 FM, Vision Africa Radio 104.1 FM, Buzz 89.7 FM, and Real 99.1 FM. My name is Michael Oni. The program returns on Monday.
This is Abia COVID-19 update. Abia COVID-19 update.